Good morning, fellow orchid lovers. It's Danielle here with an update on what's in bloom and what's in spike in my collection. As you can see, there's quite a few things in bloom. So I have a lot to show you. I'll try to move as quickly as possible so it won't be too long of a video. I wanted to show you this orchid first. This is the Volcano Midnight Volcano Queen. I find with the finer root orchids, she came with a spike that everything was still really tight. It was down to here. No buds or branches had developed. And I find sometimes when I get a new Oncidium type with the fine roots, and they have that type of, embryo spike, sometimes they'll abort the spike or it just won't develop as well. But I don't think that's the case with this one. She's doing really good. As you can see, she's got quite a few buds to come. And I'll bring you in to see one of the flowers. Now the color on the video is a lot brighter red than it is in real life. The color on the petals and sepals is really like a rusty orange color and not so much red. So you're not really getting the true color, and I wish you could because it is gorgeous. I'll bring you in to see my Dendrobium. This is Dendrobium Firewings, and she came with this flower on her, and so she's been in bloom for a little bit now. Really pretty, no signs of fading, only flower on her, and it looks like the first time that this plant has flower, but I'll take it. She's got spots on the back of the bloom, which I think are just darling. My Roy Takanaga is still in bloom. This is one of my orchid show purchases, and I just love her flowers. You can see the spotting here, and then it goes to her actual petals and sepals, and that lip. Look at that lip. I mean, even the outside of it has little spots on it, as you can see. I just love these flowers, and there is a faint scent on her. It's not like overwhelming, but it is, very pretty. And she has quite a few blooms, so she's doing pretty good. No signs of fading yet, and I just love looking at those flowers. Gorgeous. My Little Green Apples is in bloom. This is another orchid show purchase. And now you can fully see why I wanted this orchid. I like quirky, interesting flowers, and I've never seen a flower like this before. Look at that lip with the black veining. And it's true black. It's not like purple or red that looks black until you get close up. This is real black. And with this mint green and then the spots on the back of the sepals, I just love it. No scent yet. I don't know if she's supposed to get one, but nothing yet. She has one more bud down there to come. My Atroviolacea Dendrobium Latoria type is still in bloom, and I'm loving every second of it. One of my favorite flowers in my collection. Just beautiful. She also is very fragrant. Anytime that you're in my kitchen, you can smell her, especially when the sun is on her. It intensifies the smell. She has 7 spikes, so that might have something to do with it. And those are spikes that grew in my care. So I'm really, really excited about that. My last Dendrobium still in bloom is my Microchip. She came with this spike, and of course it's not going to zoom. Little delicate flowers, really, really pretty. Spots on the back. 2 blooms have fallen off so far, and this one looks like it's going over. But she has quite a few new growths in there, so the future looks bright for her. Let's see, we have my Wildcat back there. Now this is the one that came with the wrong tag. This one came with a tag that said that it was bobcat, and it is clearly not even close to a bobcat. There go my dogs. She is, I think, a Green Valley, which is funny because I already have a Green Valley, so now I have two. But I mean, look at those beautiful blooms. And she smells like honeysuckle. So she's in my living room in my big bay window, and it just fills the whole room with that beautiful smell. And as you can see, even the back of the flowers is beautiful. Like the lip is more of a white from the front, and from the back it's a beautiful pink color. So no matter which way you look at this orchid, she's just stunning. Beautiful, beautiful spike on this orchid. This orchid, I don't have the tag out and I can't really go digging for it, sorry. But if you watched my new orchid video, she is in that. As you can see, really, really pretty flowers. She has the 2 spikes. They're maintaining and doing well, so fingers crossed she'll stay happy. My favorite orchid in the whole wide world is in bloom. So I'm really excited about that. Looking at those blooms, can you blame me? The funny thing about this orchid is that I keep her in the same position in an attempt to get these blooms to be like in a cascade instead of all wonky. No matter what I do, one of them always does its own thing. Yeah, mind of its own. But beautiful, beautiful plant. I wish I could have these. I wish she bloomed twice a year because I just love, love, love these blooms. My favorite orchid by far. And I know a lot of people have it, but I just love it. I just love it. I can't stop looking at it, but I have to because we have to move on. So this is another one of my Orchid Show purchases. She's not doing so keen. One of her flower spikes got broken. She got knocked over and it got broken. So I don't know if that's why she's, she was, kind of battered about and so she's not happy. But her flowers never quite opened all the way. They're kind of staying hooded like that, which I don't think is typical. And I can show you what I mean. Get out of there. Eating cat food, are you? That's not like him, actually. Sorry, I got distracted. This is my Andrea West, and as you can see, the petals on the sepals, they open and they unfurl, and this one didn't. So, I don't think she's happy, but the blooms are pretty to look at, and they smell beautiful. I just love this flower. Had to have her. Love, love, love how dark that lip is. And this is an example of it looks black, but it's not. It's actually like a really, really deep purple, like a reddish purple. Whereas the little apples is little green apples is definitely black. So we'll come back over here and look at my Andrea West. We want to give her the time that she deserves. Beautiful, beautiful flower. I would say this is probably my second favorite flower in my collection. She Loved Tolkien being first, this one second. And then probably my Atroviolacea third. So she has this spike. And this is doing really, really well. And then she has another spike coming. And this was just a tiny little teeny tiny spike when I got her. So the fact that it matured to actual buds and it didn't abort, I'm thrilled with because that's not normal for me. Especially with them Miltoniopsis. I usually piss them off pretty quickly. And she doesn't seem to be. So I'm excited about that. This is my Encyclia radiata. So I'm keeping her really, really far away from the rest of my collection. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I found mealybugs. Well, a mealybug. That was enough for me. I hate bugs. On one of her new growths. It was down in between the leaf joints. So just, a word of caution, you might want to make sure you're checking those leaf joints on the new growths because bugs like to get down there, lay their eggs, have a field day. So anyways, she is in a whole different room from the rest of my collection. And that might be why her flower spike that she came with, which was, all the way down in her leaf joint when I got her. It is progressing, but as you can see, it's probably just going to get one bud. It's not really getting a ton of light because the spot where I get good light is where my other orchids are, and I can't put her there until I'm sure that I have completely eradicated any bug infestation. But one flower is better than no flowers, and I will certainly take it. She's a very healthy plant, so I'm sure she'll spike again. And then I wanted to ask, this is my Maxillaria tenuifolia. She came as 5 bulbs. She has grown quite a bit, as you can see. I mean, she just puts out new growths like it's going out of style. Just constant growth. She never really stops. I've never seen a flower spike develop on these. I've seen them with flowers, but I've never seen a flower spike develop. And I think this might be wishful thinking, and I'm hoping that some of you have a Maxillaria and have seen a flower spike develop and can tell me if this is a flower spike. So as you can see, at the base of this pseudobulb, there's 2 new growths, but then there's that. And I'm probably not gonna, it's different than the new growths. The new growths have like layering on them. That does not. Is that a flower spike? If any of you have a Maxillaria, can you tell me? I mean, I guess I could just wait and see what happens, but I'm so excited. I've never seen a new growth develop quite there. It doesn't mean it's not a new growth, but I'm really hoping that it's a flower spike, because I've had her for 2 years. And although, like I said, she never stops growing, she just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. She was division from a larger plant, and she was in pitiful shape. She was clearly eaten by slugs. Several of her pseudobulbs were compromised. But she's very happy in my environment. I am keeping her very, very happy. She never stops getting pseudobulbs. So I'm really hoping that that might possibly be a spike. So just let me know. And then another thing that is so super exciting to me. So I don't really have the best environment for Miltoniopsis and Miltonias. I don't. But I love them. And so I keep trying. Bless my heart. And I've killed a few. I've managed to save a few. Several of them had Fusarium. A few of them had orange rot. So some of them it wasn't really my fault necessarily. I'm sorry, I keep saying I've got to stop that. I'm trying to gather my thoughts and it comes out verbally. Anyways, this is a piece of my Miltonia Haijami Ono. And I have had this orchid, I think, going on 2 years. I purchased her. She was a tiny plant. She didn't have any spikes or blooms or anything like that when I got her. But she went downhill really quickly. I treated her for Fusarium and she started to bounce back. This was a new growth. I had a mature pseudobulb, but a new growth that I saved. The new growth pushed on, not terribly well. It's kind of small. And then it pushed out its own new growth, which is much, much healthier, as you can see. Well, looky what we have there. This is officially the first Miltoniopsis type of plant that I have gotten to spike in my care. Woohoo, bells ringing, so excited. However, I don't know if I should keep it because she is such a tiny plant. I mean, this plant is a single, large growth with a tiny pseudobulb attached, and the nursery let it bloom, and I don't know, I don't know what to do. She seems very healthy. She has a good root system. The pseudobulbs are healthy and plump. The new growth is double the size of the other pseudobulb. It doesn't look like she's going to get more than 1 flower. So I don't know if I should just cut it off and sacrifice it for the health of the plant, or if I should let it bloom. Like I said, it seems like a healthy plant. So I'm in a bit of a conundrum. I don't really know what to do. And no matter what you put in the comments, I'm still going to make my own decision. But I'm bringing it to your attention because I'm so psyched that I got it to bloom. Well, spike. I usually kill them. So anyways, that's exciting. Okay, so we wasted enough time on that. So this is watering day here at the Hannock Ranch, Danielle's Orchid Ranch. All of my Phalaenopsis that are not in bloom. all of my bandaceous orchids, all of my tolumnias, my naivium that continues to give me difficulties, my cattleyas, my oncidium types, and my dendrobiums. And then the rest of the orchids that I have in bloom and spike are my phalaenopsis. Okay, so a lot of these you've seen already, so I'll try to go through this portion of it very quickly. There are a few orchids that are spiking, some interesting stuff, so I did want to share it. This one is the one I'm most proud of. I've had her well over a year, probably close to a year and a half, maybe even 2 years. And she grew this spike in my care. This is not a branch from another spike. She grew this for me. So she branched twice. Look at this cluster of blooms. I mean, wow. 16 blooms. 16 on a single spike. Wow. And I grew it. It's my spike. So I'm so, so proud of her. She's so beautiful. She's like a dusty, like rosy color. Really, really pretty. This one, she has never stopped blooming for me. I purchased her in bloom. She had this spike. The blooms fell off. It extended. The blooms fell off. It extended. So she's never stopped. Now she has a branch off of that spike with quite a few blooms on there and a bud coming. This is the one that I got that something fell on her. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, pretty plant. This is the one that I got. I was pretty sure she was a white orchid because this is one that they had dyed the stem so that the flowers would be blue. And they typically do that to white orchids because obviously it shows the blue color the best. So she bloomed. She put out quite a few flowers for me, and I dropped something on her, and I'm sorry, pretty girl. Really, really pretty. Like a neon yellow in there. Just gorgeous. Even the simplest flower, the lip is so beautiful, and then the back of the petals are slightly pink. Really, really nice. This is the one that I bought the Joy Fairy Tale, and this is what bloomed, so it's not Joy Fairy Tale, but it's pretty. And just the kind of color I enjoy. The lip is kind of frilly. No scent, but that's okay. This one back here is the first mini phal that I was able to figure out how to grow successfully in waterculture. Really interesting. Just noticed this today. This sepal, I think it is. What? These are the petals. Those are the sepals. I don't know. It has like the beginnings of a lip on it. You see how the lip has the spotting and then this darker red, and then that has the spotting and the darker red. It's the only one of the flowers that has that, but I don't know if that's just like a mutation kind of or what, but it's interesting. So yes, she has 4 blooms. She's doing really, really good. This one back here, again, quite a few blooms. This is a spike that I grew a secondary, 2 secondary spikes actually. So quite a few blooms on her. This one, this is a secondary spike that keeps blooming. So she got flowers, they fell off. She got more. She's got more buds to come. Puppies, Jet, like 2 more minutes, please. Hey. Let me see what else. This is the mini phal that my husband purchased for me recently, and I haven't had an opportunity to show to you. Really cute little teeny tiny blooms. You know, she didn't have that many blooms left, but she does have a bud here. The spike is green, so she may extend or get more. This one right here, she's doing really good. Beautiful peachy color with red and yellow. Just gorgeous. And she had a primary spike that she branched in 2 spots, and then she also grew a primary spike for me. So that's not a branch, that is an actual independent primary spike. Only got 4 blooms, but the mitten looks healthy, so it could turn into something else. This one is one that I am terribly afraid of. I'm afraid I'm gonna hurt it. This is my Phalaenopsis equestris, and that spike is so tiny and delicate. I'm always so afraid I'm gonna break it, but it's progressing nicely. I don't see any buds yet, but I'm really excited to see how tiny these flowers are gonna be. If the spike is this tiny, I can only imagine the flowers are gonna be tiny too. Little petite little things. And now moving on to other spikes. This is my orchid named after my niece Charlie. She purchased this orchid for me. As you can see, her spike is doing really well. This orchid is a recent surprise. She's growing this tiny little spike right here. Aurora. Oh. Aurora, come here. Come here. My mail lady's here, and I know she's delivering a box, so let me close that door, because my dogs are going to go completely ballistic. Get back. And my mail lady doesn't understand that they just want to play. She doesn't find them too adorable. Okay, so they might start barking, and if they do, I apologize. Okay, so tiny little nub right there. Just found that recently, so I'm pretty excited about that. This is one of them that I don't know what color it is. So we got a little ways until we're going to find out, but I will share it with you once it blooms. This one is also growing a spike for me. And this one is my white orchid with orange lip. So I'm excited to see her blooms. It's been a little while. And then the last one I wanted to share with you is my orchid named Annalise. And she came with this spike that had quite a few big, large, beautiful blooms. Then she decided she was going to branch. And the branch won't stop growing. It's still going. It's finally getting buds, so I think maybe it's going to stop growing. But look at how huge that secondary spike is. I have never seen a secondary spike that big in my life. And it's not like she's terribly far away from the light. I mean, the point of this is pretty much touching the window. I've had to keep moving her farther and farther away from the window because she's going to hit the window. So I'm just, wow. Like, wow. Really blown away by that. I've never seen a secondary spike that big before in my life. So that's pretty interesting. But anyways, that is my collection that is in bloom. Like I said, last year at this time, I looked at my videos and my photos from last year at this time as far as blooms are concerned, and I would say maybe a quarter of the amount of blooms I had, and definitely very few of them that I grew the spike myself. So I'm really, really proud of myself, especially because, you know, growing in water culture is not easy, and it's very controversial. A lot of people think that it's not like a really good way to grow orchids, or they start to suffer after a couple of years. But I'm officially past my 2-year mark growing in water culture, and I do not feel that my orchids are suffering. Actually, the reverse. I think that they are flourishing. And I'm really, really proud of myself because there isn't a whole lot of information out there on how to grow in water culture. So it was really like I trained myself, and it was mostly just observing what my plants were doing, trying to do research on the type of nutrients and everything else that they need and the type of conditions that they need, and really just, number one, paying attention to my plants. They will tell you what they need. You'll know when they're not happy or when they are happy. And so, you know, I'm just so, so pleased with the progress of my orchids and really proud of myself for all the hard work that I'm putting in is finally paying off. So I hope that you too are enjoying your collections this spring, and I will talk to you all next time.